Welcome to the Get Your Life Together Girl podcast, the ultimate blueprint to self-love and inner peace. I'm your host, Danielle Van. As a cognitive behavioral therapist, life coach, meditation teacher, and author, I've spent my life studying and learning from the stories that make us human. It's my passion and goal to help you shift your mindset and create a lifelong revolution to reach your greatest potential. As we wind down the year, headed to a new 12 months, 2025, we are starting a 4-week journey together. A journey designed to help you reflect on the most fundamental questions that guide your life. Together, we are diving into a question that seems so deceptively simple, yet is so profoundly powerful. That question is, what do I want? As we explore this question, we're going to uncover that the answers aren't just about surface level desires or even material goods. It's about uncovering your authentic self, your values, and your visions for your future. And by the end of this conversation, I'm going to hand over some practical tools to help you answer that question and help you start aligning your life with the things that matter most to you. So let's not waste another second. The Get Your Life Together Girl podcast starts right now. The idea of diving into the self, especially at this time of year, seems to be something most people want to avoid. And I get it. We are busy in December. We are busy when we get towards the end of the year, the holiday season. And yet it's also a time of closing things down and deciding what the next phase is going to look like. What does this next chapter look like for you? Since 2021, when I started this podcast, I've been asking 4 essential questions ad nauseum, I know, but they're important because they do teach us to be investigators of our life and to shift our mindset, to look at what we truly want and need deep down inside, minus the noise that's out there. And those 4 questions are what we're leaning into, a 4-week journey together that's going to have you reflecting on something that seems so simple, and yet it's so hard to really dive into unless you have the skill set. And whether you have been on a healing journey or you are feeling like you have your life together, but you just don't know what's next, this is the experience that you need to have right now. And we're starting with the number 1 question that I always ask: what do I want? That question is really the starting point for everything that you do. It sets the course for your action, your decision, your relationships even. It shapes your career, your health, your personal development, and even the way that you interact with others. And the problem is many of us struggle to answer that question with some kind of clarity, right? Especially when the world is bombarding us with distractions and expectations and crazy noise, whether that is unhealed circumstances or just our to-do list, our daily lives. And I want you to think beyond this moment. We're setting ourselves up for 2025. And I want you to think more globally. And what I mean by that is I want you to get very narrow in your thought process. And then I want you to expand it out to think about how are the things that you're doing impacting not only today, but also tomorrow. And this isn't about forecasting. I don't want you doing that. I don't want you to say, well, I want this and it needs to happen this way. What I'm saying is, what do I really, truly want to put my focus, my intention, my fulfillment, my excitement, my values and passion, my creativity? What do I want to put into my experience? If you go around today and you ask people, hey, what do you want? What do you want 2025 to look like? The answers that you're going to get are going to tend to be more material based, like owning a new house, buying a house, getting a promotion, taking a dream vacation, buying that thing, a new car, whatever it is. And yes, those things are important to many people, but at its core, what do I want, is more about this understanding of what truly resonates with you, which is what I was just talking about. What brings the fulfillment, what brings the excitement, values, passion, creativity. And perhaps that's why it's so damn hard to answer, right? What do I want? Because many of us experience noise in everyday life that really cloud our vision. We get caught up in what will other people think? What if I don't know what I want? And here's the biggest truth. You have the right to want things in your life. You have the right to explore and discover and evolve without judgment. You have the right to unpack your own personal needs. So let's do that. Let's unpack, what do I want? To break down the question, okay, understand that we have to look at three components of that question. What do I want? That means, what desire do I have? What values am I matching that desire to? And what does the overall vision look like? And we're going to do some practical exercises to help you reflect on this process. So let's talk about desire first. What is desire? So desire in this context means finding purpose in your life, a strong longing or wish for something that holds personal significance and fulfillment. It's a powerful motivator that drives you to pursue things like passion and dreams and goals. And I want you to think about the fact that deeply rooted in your human experience is all of these factors that drives that personal pursuit of fulfillment for you, whether it's innate or it's cultivated by everything around you, right? From school to your parents to your community to whatever it might be. Desire is something that helps us get to know our truest self. And desire can be physical or emotional. Again, it can be material, right? It's not that we don't want to look at material things. It's just that I want you to go a little bit deeper. And it could be even mental. It's important to start by acknowledging your desires without judgment. So an example is you may desire more time for creative expression, a deeper connection with others, or maybe financial freedom, or perhaps a sense of peace and calm in your life. Desire doesn't have to be this grand thing to be meaningful. It can be something very small, like feeling healthier. And that may seem like a very big thing, but on the smallest scale, it's just a desire. It doesn't have anything behind it yet. It could also be that you just want to spend more time, quality time with a loved one. Whatever it is, I want you to write down, or even just think about right now, what you desire. What do you need and want in your life? If you really want to dive into this and do some work, grab a piece of paper and divide it into 4 sections. I want you to label the first one personal, the second one professional, the third column health, and the fourth column relationships. Under each heading, I want you to write 3 to 5 to 10 to, I don't even care how many you write down, things that you desire in each of those areas of your life, right? We talk about the 5 masters a lot. The 5 masters being mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, financial. And each of these headings, personal, professional, health, and relationship, has an element of one of the 5 masters or all of the 5 masters in it. And so I want you to write down those top desires that come to your mind without judgment. And I want you to reflect on why these things are so important to you. Do they align with what excites you in your life, or with the life that you want to create, this thing that you're trying to get to? Are they aligned with your expectations of yourself, or are they more outside? I talk to so many people that they'll talk about, well, I went to school and this is what I studied because this is what my parents thought that I should do, right? They wanted me to be a doctor, or they wanted me to be an engineer or an attorney or whatever it is. And it really isn't what aligns with me. So now I'm stuck doing this thing that I don't really love, but I'm doing it because that was the expectation. So I want you to reflect on what you write. This is called desire mapping. And I want you to look at, does this align with what I truly value in my life? Or is this thing someone else's expectation of me? When you know, I want you to move on to your values. This is the second part of answering our question. Often when we we reflect on what we want, we have to ask ourselves the next question, which is, what do we stand for? What do I stand for? We're really looking at, where do I place value in my life? Our values are like a compass. They guide us in our decision making, our relationships, and even how we prioritize our time. Sometimes we get confused between what we want and what we think we want because we haven't connected those desires to our core values, what we actually believe resonates with us. So in order to know what actually resonates with you, I want you to take the next step and next tool into practice. This is all about clarifying your values. So I want you to write down a list of values that resonate with you. Let me list off a few core values, right? So that could be like accountability or achievement, balance, belonging, commitment, contentment, courage, creativity, even equality, financial stability, grace, health, joy, justice, creativity, freedom, compassion, adventure, stability, success, time, truth, trust, wisdom. You see what I'm going with. Anything that has a value system to it. For me, a core value is mindfulness and learning, spirituality, vitality, wisdom, acceptance, achievement, bravery, creativity. These are some that are so important to me. So write down what you really value. And if you struggle, go to Pinterest, go to Google, find a list of values and really take a deep dive look at what you feel are, true to you. Okay. They don't have to be true to everybody else, but what are true to you. And after you've written that list down, I want you to narrow everything to the 5 top most important values to you. There's a reason why. And those 5 top values really speak to where your desire is, where you're really working to get to in your life. This is answering that question, what do I want? By narrowing down the 5 top values, the most important. And once you have your 5, I want you to reflect on your current life and think about, is my life reflective of these values? Where do you see them clearly expressed? In your relationships, at work, in the volunteer work perhaps that you're doing, in the friendships? Like, where do you see these values showing up? And where do you see yourself out of alignment with these values? So if you put down that stability is a very important, one of your top 5 values, and what you say you want is financial freedom, but you look at your bank account and see that you are out of alignment because you're shopping or you're going out to eat every night, or you're not paying your bills on time, whatever it is, you can see that your value, your desire, and what you're trying to get to, what you want in your life, is not directly correlating with one another. And you have to do some shifts. So write down your top values, whatever they are. Again, get a list online if you need one. And then narrow it down to your top 5. Reflect on how those values are showing up in your life and where you're out of alignment. And from there, we're going to move on to the vision part. And this is step 3 of getting down to, what do I want? And this is a little different, right? Because generally I tell you, here's what you should be doing in order to get to a happy existence, to get to this place where you feel connected, balanced, and have a greater sense of ease. But I can't tell you how to get there if you don't know what there is, right? So you have to clarify these pieces. And we do that by connecting everything together. So once you've connected your desires and your values, the next thing is to see the bigger picture, your vision. This is where the question, what do I want, expands beyond the immediate now. A vision takes in accountability both your desires and your values, and then gives you this great sense of direction, right? It gives you that thing that you're moving towards in the future. So I want you to take just a moment, and I want you to close your eyes and imagine this ideal future for you. This could be a year from now or 5 years from now. It doesn't really matter, the timeline. What do you see? What does life look like for you? What does it feel like for you? I want you to take that vision once you have it locked down, and I want you to write a vision statement that describes the life that you just saw, that life that you want to create. And I want you to be so specific about that vision. I want you to get so clear about what it feels like. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What are the elements within it? And if you want to take it a step further, create a vision board, right? Using images or quotes or drawings to represent this vision. Every single year, my children and I sit down and we do our vision boards for the year. And we talk about tangibles, right? We draw or we cut out different images and we put these things together so that we can see our vision in real time. And then we place it someplace so we can see it, daily to remind us of our desires and our purposes that we're trying to create. You see, those vision boards, these visions of ourselves, of what we want, how we want to feel, are the direction points. Those are the end goals. So I know what I want by deciding what I really, truly feel is for me. What desire do I have inside of me, right? That's that desire map. Does it align with the values, the reflection of who I am? And then how do I use both those things to get to where I want to be? A goal is fantastic, but literally it's nothing. And I mean that it's nothing until you put true why, intention, and action to it. So use your vision, this thing that you want to get to, as the end result. And we're going to work backwards, right? We're going to go back to the beginning and decide, how am I going to get there? Because we align our actions at that point to what we want. Once you're done with the inner work of identifying your dreams, your desires, your vision, the next step is to bring clarity into your action. Often we're unsure about how to move forward because we don't go back to that beginning that I just said, right? So my fourth question comes in of how will I get there? That question is actually a part of every single other question. To answer that, you have to start small, right? The intentional steps. You create a roadmap that honors what you learned from your desires, your value, and your vision. You take those visions and desires and you write down 3 to 5 concrete steps. They're going to help you get started. I don't need to have every little ticker mark along the line. I don't need that. I just need something that's going to allow me to commit to the experience that I'm trying to create. So if I'm focused and my value is spirituality, what I want to is expand that, then I have to think about, how am I going to practice mindfulness daily? How am I going to bring my spiritual practice into fruition? And then you break down each step into smaller, manageable tasks. Well, I may get up at 5 a.m. every morning and I'm going to meditate for 1 hour. That is a way to bring my action, my what do I want, into fruition. And then I'm going to set deadlines and check-ins for myself to track my progress. And that's going to help me stay accountable to myself. This is truly how you get to what do I want. You can do this in so many different ways, but this is such a simple drilled down method to get there. And it may seem so simple that you're not going to get to the steps to the end result that you're trying to get to, but I promise you, put a little thought behind it and you will. You can do it for multiple areas in your life. Again, professional, relationship, physical. What do you want? The question, what do I want, is a process. It's not a one-time answer. It's something that you should revisit throughout your life, throughout your experience, throughout this next coming year, because you're going to learn and evolve and grow. And every time you ask this question of yourself, you're peeling back another layer of self-awareness and intentionality. When you are exploring your desires and visions and experience, you help yourself get into a place of personal guidance. What do I want? Such a simple question, such a powerful way to guide your life. Now, over the next few weeks, as we explore the other questions, what do I need? How do I want to feel? And how will I get there? We're going to continue to build this vision, this foundation for yourself. But for right now, I want you to leave today with a sense of empowerment. You have the tools, you have some basic knowledge that's going to help you figure out what you want right now. It may take you a little time. It may even require some unlearning, but remember, every journey is worth taking if you are ready to realign with something that you want. So explore, do the desire mapping, identify your top desires in your professional, your personal, your health, and your relationship areas. Clarify your values, narrow down to those top 5 core values and reflect how your life already aligns with them or where you are out of alignment. Create a vision board or some kind of visual for yourself so that you know what this ideal future looks like, and then create an action plan. Break down your goals into actionable steps. These exercises help you clarify where your goals are going. It uncovers what's truly important to you, and it helps you guide yourself into a space that's not so confusing, but instead a space of true clarity. Anytime you reflect, you move yourself into paying attention. And that's really what we want to focus on. Paying attention right now so that you know what you need and want. These are the practical steps to fulfillment. And when you figure that out, it becomes the essential way to get your life together. Thank you so much for listening to the Get Your Life Together Girl podcast. I hope you've enjoyed these tips for bettering your life. And if you're not already following me on social media, I encourage you to do so at Get Your Life Together Girl on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Clapper, YouTube, and Threads. You can also follow me on Pinterest and Insight Timer. Each week on Insight Timer, I am doing live classes, live conversations, much like this one, where you can ask questions in real time and I answer them. So if you're not following me there, find me on Insight Timer at Danielle A. Van. You can also visit my website at getyourlifetogethergirl.com, where you can find a blog, new courses, downloads, and so much more. I can't thank you enough for being such a valuable part of this community. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others.